Hello everyone and welcome to Sinful Gaming. I hope you're all doing well, I hope you're all staying safe, and most of all, I hope you're all fighting that war against the grey. Today's video we're going to talk getting started with Warhammer Age of Sigmar, and today we're going to take a look at the Lumineth Realm Lords, and in particular the Alumnia sub-faction. Now in this video we're going to go through, talk a little bit about what makes Alumnia special as a sub-faction, and then we'll take a look at a couple of units we recommend to get started with for your Alumnia army. We'll then take a look at a couple of other units to expand upon after those couple of initial purchases, and finally finish off the video with a little sample army of 1,000 points for you to use as some inspiration for starting your own Lumineth Realm Lords army using the Alumnia sub-faction. Now, to start with, Alumnia, what is the special rule we get with this particular sub-faction? We get if the base of each model in a friendly Alumnia Venari unit is touching the base of 2 or more other friendly models from the same unit, each model in that unit that is within 6 inch of an objective counts as 2 models for the purposes of contesting that objective. This is really cool. First of all, this is pretty much the same way we have to play in order to get Shining Company to work for our Venari units. So we're already going to be doing this with a lot of the units we're going to pick within this army, so we're just getting more benefit. Also, this means that we're not necessarily going to have to look to take something like the Expert Conquerors Battalion. While yes, that will make us count as 3 rather than 2, I think we're definitely getting, somewhere near the same benefit with this, and what that's going to allow to do is open up something like Bounty Hunters to enable us to get more damage dealing out of our units rather than having to place them into that particular Expert Conquerors Battalion. And so, where to start? I think the Venari Lord Regent for me is the place to start with your Lumineth Realm Lords army, especially if you're playing in this sub-faction. First of all, the big thing we've got with this is the cool rule Greater Power of Highish, which is a War Scroll spell for the model. A casting value of 7 and a range of 18 inch, we then get to pick up to D3 friendly Lumineth Realm Lord units with the Sun Metal Weapons ability hollow within range and visible to the caster, and until our next hero phase, those Sun Metal Weapons from those units will activate on a 5+ rather than a 6. Sun Metal Weapons allow us to do mortal wounds on 6s to hit. This would of course increase to 5s to hit, and a lot of the units in our army, like the Wardens we're about to talk about, and other units as well that do have these Sun Metal Weapons, can do some smaller benefits but only affect their own unit with them. So this allows us to allow them to do other things with their own magical potential. Now he's got the Purest Aether Quartz rule where he's -1 to hit at all times as well, and he adds 1 to the casting roll when he attempts to cast the Greater Power of Highish. However, if this unit uses its last Aether Quartz reserves, it cannot use this particular ability, so he has to hold on to his Aether Quartz in order to get these bonuses. He's a 1 cast and 1 unbind wizard, and not too shabby in combat. And also a nice 14-inch move as well, and a 3-up save makes him pretty good, maneuverable, and pretty survivable on the tabletop. Alongside this model, I like the Venari Aurelin Wardens. These are our standard line infantry. 4-up save, 1 wound each. They do mortal wounds on 6s to hit thanks to their Sun Metal Weapons. And so long as they've got 5 models in the unit and the champion is there, they will have a wizard and count as a wizard with 1 cast and 1 unbind. They've got their Wall of Blades ability as well, where if someone they are attacking has charged them, they get +1 to their wound rolls and improve their weapons rend by 1. The Shining Company rule, which applies to a lot of the Venari units, where we talked about that at the start of the game, at the start of the video, where if we've got 1 model that's touching another 2 models, so long as every model in the unit is touching 2 models from its other unit, it will get the ability to be -1 to hit. It also has Power of Highish, which is much like the Greater Power of Highish we have on the Lord Regent, though it can only affect the single unit. Looking at where to go next though, I think Sentinels are definitely another good shout for me. Venari Aurelin Sentinels are the ranged unit baseline troop for our Lumineth Realm Lords. They're going to get their Sun Metal Weapons on their ranged attacks and have a couple of different ranged weapon profiles they can choose to pick from. They're going to either be able to do their lofted shots, which do have a greater range but lack the rend and hit worse, or their aim shots are shorter range, better to hit and pick up a point of rend as well. Now alongside them we have Venari Blade Lords, which I think are really interesting. Once again, another Lumineth Realm Lord unit that has a couple of different weapons, or a couple of different options to how to use their weapons, and that is they can either go the Flurry of Blows, which is 2 attacks base, 3s, no rend damage 1, but they will get extra attacks as they fight units of 5 more models for +1 attack, or 10 or more models, they'll get +2 attacks. The Sun Metal Greatblade can also use a Perfect Strike, where they'll just be able to deal some mortal wounds to the enemy on a 2+. So they definitely have some cool utility with them there. Another thing they've got going for them is their Guardian's ability where they can protect our friendly Scenari units. Now, the other unit to look at, I think, is the Venari Dawnriders. I really like the Lumineth Realmlord's Cavalry. 4 up save, 2 wounds, they're pretty darn fast as well with a move of 14. They have the Sun Metal Weapons ability. They've also got their standard barriers so they can reroll Battle Shock tests, and the champion gets an extra attack with his cool Guardian Sword. Now, as long as they've got 3 or more models in the unit, they are going to count as a wizard, and they can attempt to uncast and unbind 1 spell per turn. The Lancers of the Dawn ability is nice for them as well, where if this unit makes a charge, you add 1 to their wound and improve their Lancer's rend by 1. They've got Shining Company, like the other units we've talked about, Sun Metal Weapons, like we've talked about before. And then they've got their Deathly Furrows ability, where they get extra attacks with their melee weapons if they're fighting smaller units. So if they're fighting infantry units with 1 or 2 wounds, they're going to get some bonus attacks. This, I think, just really ups the potential for them to be some really great bounty hunters in the current meta. Now, alongside these models, endless spells are really nice to bring into Lumineth Realmlords. You've got lots of wizards with lots of extra spells, especially something like your Regent in the army, using that greater power of High-Ish, freeing up the spell casting from your other Venari units. I think looking at some endless spells are nice. Lumineth Realmlords have some really cool endless spells themselves. The Sanctum of Amnatok is really good for defending your own wizard. The Heshian Twin Stones allow you to get some extra bonuses to your casting. And the Rune of Petrification does damage, but also does some nice control play as well. The ability to negate some movement and some charge rolls. And so here we have our sample army list for you. We're in Alumnia, Mortal Realm of High-Ish. Now the grand strategy we've gone for here is defend what's ours. This is a really cool one. I think Lumineth can really defend their own territory pretty well with nice solid blocks of troops and some fast moving pieces here and there as well. And also some nice deadly short range magical damage as well. Now, if we are playing in larger points values, there's definitely some Lumineth specific ones I think are much more worth a look at. They've got really good grand strategies. A Triumph here, we've got 10 points spare, as we're 990 out of 1,000, so we've got Inspired. Our leader is the Venari Lord Regent, who's got Master of Magic for the ability to reroll 1 casting, unbinding, or dispelling roll per turn, and the Arcane Tome to allow him to cast an extra spell. Lure of High-Ish, we've gone for Total Eclipse, making our opponent have to spend 2 CP to use any commands they want. If this goes off, it's just such a fantastic spell on the tabletop, will absolutely be a massive pivotal part of the game. Now, for our units, we've got 2 units of 10 Venari Aurelin Wardens. One of them's got Protection of High-Ish and the other one with Ethereal Blessing. Now, Protection of High-Ish is a cool 5-up ward aura, and then we've got Ethereal Blessing, which is the ability to make one of our units ethereal, negating all rend and all positive bonuses as well, to be fair. We then have the Sentinels. Now, I've gone with Speed of High-Ish on the Sentinels here, because generally they're going to be seeing backfield. They're going to be much more deep deployed than the rest of the units. I think Speed of High-Ish on them is really cool for late game play. If you're needing to go grab objectives with a unit, cast this on them and let them have a 12-inch movement. We then have 10 Venari Dawnriders, a reinforced unit of them with Speed of High-Ish. This is just a great spell on Venari Dawnriders, upping their movement to 28 inches. Now the endless spells we've gone for are the Rune of Petrification and the Heshian Twin Stones. This is going to give us some extra magical potential and also some mortal wound damage dealing at range as well. Battalion-wise, Bounty Hunters, both our Venari Aurelin Wardens and our Dawnriders are all in that battalion. Like I said, the fact we're counting as 2 models for a lot of these units anyway is meaning we're not having to spend our battalion on something like Expert Conquerors. Instead, we can focus on getting some extra damage in the army with that Bounty Hunters. 56 wounds, 5 drops, 1 reinforced unit and no allies. Like I said, 10 points spare there. Chance we might get our Triumph. If you've got some thoughts for Alumnia in your own Lumineth Realmlords army, let us know down in the comments below. Well, that's the end of the video. Thank you all for watching. We hope you enjoyed. If you did, please don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. And also drop us a comment down below letting us know what you enjoyed about the video. If you'd like to go and chat more with me and other members of our community here at Sinful Gaming, you can do so on our Discord server, which is linked down in the video's description. If you'd like to help support the channel more, you can do so either by Patreon or YouTube members or going to our Teespring store, all of which are linked down in the video's description as well. As a special thank you to our patrons and YouTube members, we'd like to give you all a shout out. So, a special Patreon shout out to Christian Weir, Soren, Kenny Lyle, Our Shop First, Andrew Bowen, Nathan Fee, The Rising Ape, Q Dynamic, Anthony B, JJ Austrian, Average Wargamer, Domir, Mark Harvey, James Cader, Derek, Bloobs, Benjamin Suarez, and Red Martin. And as thank you to our YouTube members as well, Green Roots Gaming, Kenton Young, Ronya, Lock Lorick, The Johnny84, David Ellsworth, Wolfric Nick, Broken Chef, Ariana Edwards, Revenar, Pink, Nico Fire, Robin Mankiller, Monty's Tabletop Terrain, John Castle, and Davis Wire. Special thanks also to Lady Witchfox Art, who does all the amazing artwork you see on the channel, like you can see pictured here on this slide. Thank you once again for watching, everyone. Stay safe, stay well, and most of all, keep fighting that war against the Grey. Ciao for now.